to the class. Hey everyone, welcome to project call number 34. We're diving back into the project calls, and sorry about us actually missing a project call 2 weeks ago. I'm going to go ahead and let Tyler kick this call off. We have some unfortunate news, but I'll let Tyler kind of explain what's going on and kind of set expectations for moving forward and kind of what our plan is.
Yeah, and sorry everybody who's listening that there's people outside my house, so my dogs are going a little crazy, but we had some posts in the forum about just general lack of updates or a kind of question about more transparency. We also had some people reach out to team members with some feedback. I don't really know how to make this announcement. I guess whatever role that I'm in the industry doesn't come with formal training, but one of our team members who was in charge of a lot of the organizational kind of setting up the back end and DevOps, unfortunately, tragically passed away. Sorry, everybody. He unfortunately tragically passed away last week, and I don't really want to say who it was. Maybe people can figure out from people not being on the calls, but I want to respect his privacy. I don't really want to give too much details other than to say that it kind of progressed. I guess I would say that we weren't really quite getting some of the information that we needed on our end. And it, yeah, I mean, all I will say is that it happened kind of quickly over a 30-day period. And yeah, so I think some of the lack of communication probably was that we had a lack of information on our end and we were working through it. Nobody on the call is, professional in that type of industry. So I don't think any of us really knew how to help or if we could have in hindsight. But yeah, we've ultimately been going through that. I mean, a lot of us around Universe are friends as much as we're all co-workers. A lot of people came up through the community. And yeah, ultimately, I've never dealt with this before professionally. I don't think anybody on the team has, but I mean, and even Ilya and George and Lime Chain can talk about this, even though he wasn't on their team. He was an American here in Puerto Rico with us, but there were ways that the system was set up that he was in control of that we recognized, and even he thought that we needed to change over, but it's been a nightmare and it's been a setback. So I guess professionally it is what it is. I think we've been sorting through it personally as well. So it's kind of hard to, I don't know, it's weird when someone's your friend, but then you've also got to get the business side done. So this has all happened within the past week, but the effects of it probably started getting felt in late February, around when everything released. So yeah, I mean, I think this situation brought it to a head for me, but some of the lack of communication, I guess in hindsight is 2020, why some of that was happening. I'm not blaming everything on that. But we would get on calls, we would be delayed, things, didn't get updated, and it we've all been working through it for a while now. And yeah, it sucks that it came to a head the way that it did, but I don't know what else to say. Like, I don't have like a
So Ilya, do you want to
brief
kind of
or like
dive
a
in
plain way to say it.
to some of like, you know, so one of the things that kind of arose from this, and I think why Tyler was saying some of these things is we were, you know, this person had access to a lot of the security stuff, and we were kind of in the process of migrating permissions of that around so that we could create more of a decentralized approach to that. So not just like one or two people had access to that. And as we were migrating all this last week, um, this tragedy happened. So at this point right now, I mean, and Ilya can explain this a lot more in depth, as we are having to kind of unlock and kind of recover some of these things and able to move forward with the development process. Um, so we are blocked on a few things. We actually have a lot of things ready to go. But we're at this point where this migration is kind of stuck because we don't have access to everything that we need right at the moment.
But just so, I mean, I know that not everyone who listens to this call is necessarily has a personal relationship with this person. So it probably affects all of us more than maybe some of the people listening. What I'll say is I think that we located the problem before, and just the way that everything happened was unexpected. I mean, yeah, you can plan for that, but as fast as we were moving to push everything out, some things were probably overlooked in that respect. And I mean, they were probably identified probably 2 weeks ago, and it was supposed to be like kind of a temporary thing where I don't think anybody planned for this to happen during that. Then the other thing that I would say is, I think that we've all processed it on a personal level and dealt, with the personal aspects that happen with this, as well as like, this person's family, and talking to them and helping them through it. And so if there's, I don't know, any silver lining from this, it's that there is like an other side to come out of at this point. And we have kind of known for a bit now the things that we need to put in place so that this can't happen again. But I would be lying if I was going to say that it wasn't a setback leading into this. It wasn't an unforeseen setback when it happened. And ultimately the entire situation sucks. But if things kind of felt slow, they were on our end too, right? So we had frustrations around things not being able to get updated properly. So there is, I guess, an other side to this that we can come out of at this point. It's unfortunate the circumstances that it happened, but I don't disagree when I read what people are saying, that the updates need to be more clear, or that the development feels like it's slower than it should have been. That's not a fault of the developers. We built a lot of stuff, but yeah, it did set us back in ways that were probably not planned. But we're working through all that.
And we're making progress. Like, we've recovered a lot of things, and we're getting to where we need to be. So there is light at the end of the tunnel. It's not like we are extremely worried. It's just something that's going to take time to fully unlock. So
I agree with Mark. And maybe Ilya wants to comment on this, and then otherwise I think we can move off this, just because it's a weird subject for all of us, because all of us were friends with this person. Like I said, I don't want to say his name. I don't want to, I just feel weird about like the privacy side of things. And I also feel weird like talking about business in context of this because it like makes me feel like a sociopath. Like even though I've done the personal grieving on my end, it's just like it's weird, right? Like it's a weird conversation to have publicly. So yeah, me and Troy were like very close to this person. Like I said, he was in PR. Ilya, I think that like, you know, LimeChain obviously worked with him, but there's maybe less of a deep relationship there. So I think maybe just talking through some of the updates that we talked about before this call, but I don't want to harp on this too long just because like I said, it's a weird, uncomfortable conversation to have at all, much less like on a publicly recorded call. Like it makes me feel really weird.
So yes, as Mark and Tower said, we identified a potential issue quite some time back, and wanted to make it as decentralized as possible. And we put a contingency plan and a plan in place and started executing it, but don't think about what happened. And God rest his soul. He was a fun guy to work with, or girl, the person. And yeah, we were in touch on a daily basis and were trying to unlock stuff and don't think about what happened. We already put a plan in place and are working towards unblocking everything. And the issue is that it takes some time, and whatever I say, it can be meaningless until I think until I have more meaningful info from the services which we are in contact with. We've already have access to most of them, but we're still a bit blocked. So we'll keep you updated on that. I can give an update.
There's just legal stuff like Universe is a DAO, so showing like a company ownership of like universe.xyz to AWS, like we're kind of working through stuff that's just, it's not impossible, right? Like it's going to get sorted out, but there's just random stuff with being kind of new cutting edge Web3 as an industry that doesn't quite fit the cookie cutter protocols or of some of the handover of these things. So we're working through it. It's fine. But Ilya is right. I guess the high level is we recognized probably over 3 weeks ago that the single point of failure was an issue. And during the conversion process, the unthinkable happened. And it was sudden and unexpected, right? I don't ultimately I can just say it was an accident. It wasn't like it wasn't like some premeditated or planned thing. It was a freak accident. And I just don't want to get into details or violate even someone who's passed away's personal situation. Just, it was a freak accident. It was unexpected. We knew that we couldn't have reliance but it is what it is.
And that whole reliance thing is not because we didn't trust this person. It was just we realized that we needed to set this thing up in case something like this happened. And
yeah, for anyone, right? Like I could get in a plane crash, and what does that mean for like domains that I own, etc. Like this stuff matters, and these are conversations you have to have, as uncomfortable as they are. But yeah, I mean, let's just dead it, I guess. But the timing of it was fucking terrible, the worst timing possible, but it is what it is.
All right, Ilya, do you and Ryan want to go ahead and jump into marketplace updates? I think we have a lot of updates around the marketplace. We've been working on a lot of things. Essentially, we kind of stopped doing our weekly updates just because we were right on the edge of releasing a lot of the stuff, and we were coming in on that database migration, trying to wrap that up, and then kind of tragedy struck. So we kind of just went silent on the community, but Ryan and Ilyich are going to give y'all a ton of updates on what we've been working on over the last 2 to 3 weeks.
Yep. So in terms of more product focus updates, it's basically not just the last 2 weeks, maybe the last 2 sprints. So we are at the end of the testing phase for the Next.js introduction. Basically, what that will do is it will make the app maybe a bit more stable, but that's not the end goal here for this feature. It's that when you share with your friends on Twitter or on Discord or whatever, you have the metadata there, and it's great for SEO, and that's part of the marketing. And basically, we need other people to use it and hear about what we're doing as well. So that's great to hear. Also, we've been busy with the filtering. We've added support for preserving selected filters to the URL. That's for collections. So when you hit a few filters and want to share with a buddy or some colleague, you can copy the URL and send it, and it will preserve the filter. So that's a useful feature which we've also done. Also, in terms of better usability, the marketplace browse page is now the new homepage. We've done a bit of revamping there. Also, I think Ryan mentioned it on a previous call, but we did improve the grid to the marketplace browse page, so it's better responsive on more screens and it's better looking. Also, we've added a collection preview pop-up. I'm not sure whether we talked about it, but that's another thing which is good for transparency of what collection are you buying from. And also, that's a bit of a more tech update, but we've been researching, and we introduced an automated testing framework. You won't feel it in using our platform and products, but the end goal here is to have a more stable product. And when you're developing, it's good to have some testing done automatically, so you basically win time rather than clicking and testing everything for a few hours or days. You can have it done by the framework automatically after tests are being coded. So that's one of the stuff we've been doing. The other stuff which we mentioned on a few occasions, and Mark already said it about the migration of the database, and that's part of the scalability and performance improvements which we are working on. And unfortunately, the event which we just discussed a bit before has a bit of setbacks to it, but we're still working on it, and we'll keep you updated on that. So basically, most of the stuff I've just mentioned are ready to go and are just blocked. And we are unblocking them as we speak. And whenever we resolve the legal situation, which Tower outlined, these stuff are basically ready to go. We'll just need to do some last testing with the infrastructure, and we'll have them live. We've also done some small fixes, but
also, just let me jump in real quick, just so nobody from the community runs rampant with like speculation. When I say legal situation, there's not like a lawsuit here. Like there's nothing like legally going on that's going to drag this out. It's like legally proving that a DAO is supposed to be in charge of universe.xyz, stuff like that. Like nothing that like, I don't want someone to think that there's some like pending lawsuit. I mean, I know that we're not being like 100% clear what happened, and like people, their natural instinct to gossip is to want to know. Out of respect for this person, like I'm not giving those details. Like let them rest in peace. They, you know, something happened. We've all had to deal with it for an ongoing period of time. It ended in a freak accident. You know, that's what everyone needs to know happened. But there isn't some overhanging legal, like lawsuit legal situation. There's just us having to unfuck all of these servers, et cetera, right? And so, yeah, I just don't want anybody to get an idea that this is going to be some prolonged, dragged out thing any worse than it, already has been. But we're dealing with that. And I just wanted to clarify what I meant by that. No offense to you, Ilya. I just, when you said that, again, repeating what I said, I don't want anyone to, I don't want the community to run rampant with assumptions due to the lack of information that we're giving, which I think is for, a good reason for this person's sake.
Yep, that's totally okay. So that's most of the stuff we've been doing in terms of the sprints, because I think somebody from the community mentioned that if we're still working on sprints, yes, we are. And I'll be sharing you updates on what we did last sprint and what we are planning to do on the next sprint. That will be every 2 weeks, because that's the sprint duration. And about the technicalities of it, I'm not sure whether it will be in the announcement channel or if we will do a separate channel, but we'll figure it out. And you'll be the first to know in Discord. So that's on a higher level on the marketplace. And yeah, I think Ryan cannot, if I missed something else. You're muted, man.
Sorry, I was saying we probably should jump into the polymorphs because I think that covers everything for the marketplace. Aside from maybe like backend stabilization that all hands is on deck for to a large degree. And continued support is being worked on for 1155s. But outside of that, yeah, we covered everything.
Yep. So Polymorphs, usually Zach is here to give more updates, but he's traveling today, but I'll be trying my best to feed in the gap here. So in terms of Polymorphs, as you may know, we are doing the burn to mint functionality for the V2 Polymorphs, and we are on track to hit testing phase within next week. So by the end of next week, we should be starting to test it out. The guys are doing fantastic job. I see Stan only here, but we have other team members who are working and are really passionate about the project. And I know that Zach is preparing some other goodies, which we should be starting to build, but no Alpha here for me. So yeah, that's in terms of Polymorphs on a high level. Ryan, if you can fill in because you're working as well there.
Yeah, so a lot of the tech is coming together there for the burn to mint, including the front end is really coming together. We have a lot of the back end being spun up for the test environment, including subgraphs, the integration with those subgraphs. So it's moving quickly, and there's a good core team kind of focused on it that's dedicated to the polymorphs and kind of isn't working on the marketplace. So this way there's developers able to focus solely on the marketplace, a handful of developers solely able to focus on the polymorphs, and kind of everything is within some developers' ownership and focus, less context switching. And I think it makes a lot of sense to me that way.
Yep, I totally agree.
Ilya, do you want to introduce our new team member? Are they still sitting with you? They don't have to like dox themselves on the screen, but like
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah, I have Bianca with me. She will be the PM on the Polymorph side. So I have more time to focus on the marketplace and auctions, minting, and that kind of stuff.
Nice.
And she's a DJ in the making.
Nice. We're excited to have her, and she'll probably get to talk a bunch on the calls if she's doing project management for the polymorphs, because she'll be way in the loop on what's going on. So yeah, we had to duplicate Ilya.
I already have a daughter, but she's like 1 year old. So
nice. Okay, awesome. So I think we can wrap this up. I don't think we have any other updates unless there's anything anyone wants to throw out there, but I think we're good. Hit like, subscribe, share with your friends, tweet the video, show your mom. We love you guys. And last week was really hard on us, but we definitely want to say that if anything, this has been very inspiring to finish the work that we have started. And if anything, I think this has brought the group together, and, you know, we've all had to kind of reflect on this. And I think if anything, you know, Tyler said, you know, there's silver linings to these things. I think that this has been an extremely motivating incident for all of us and has really brought us together. So, you know, I know it seems like our development has slowed down, but our morale has really sped up. And once we get a lot of this stuff unblocked, I think that everyone's going to see the pace and stuff that we're pushing out. So there's definitely a lot to look forward here at Universe. We're still really focused on what we want to build, and we still have very, very, very huge expectations of what this marketplace and what Universe is going to end up being. So, and we know the bear market's getting tough. So we're paying attention, and we're still here working and building. So we just want everyone to know that. All right. We appreciate everyone. Hit like, subscribe, share this video, and we'll see you guys back in 2 weeks, and we'll have an AMA next week in the Discord. So please join that Wednesday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern time.